Hi, and welcome back to Soaring Profits. Over the last couple of weeks, I'd say 2 weeks, Patrick and I have been like burning the candle at both ends. We have several businesses going on. We have our houses that we're taking care of. I know he himself may have had a flood or two, like Noah, and we've just been experiencing a lot of stress, and stress affects your sleep patterns. It affects your relationships. It affects everything you do. It affects all that stuff that I've been talking about, the domino journey about, once you start moving forward in a positive light and you hit stress, if you don't have the proper stress relievers or ways to remove stress, then you can't keep on those dominoes moving. It's almost like someone grabs a domino and stops you from moving ahead. So what you got to do is you got to build things that help you with your personal stress. Now, it's different for everybody. Like whatever I do or whatever Pat does isn't going to help you unless it's something you enjoy. So for example, for me, my stress relief right now, and over the past, I'd say 4 or 5 months, has been running. So as long as I get out and I can run every day, it relieves stress. It gets my body moving. I do a 5K. My brain flows. I get to work out problems. I get that endorphin rush at the end of the run. I know you folks have watched me on the videos at the end of the run. I am at my height. I have the most endorphins going through my body. I am ready to roll. I'm excited, and it just brings me back up to a level. Even though I may be stressed, something may be bothering me, my car's not working, or I'm having trouble collecting money from a tenant, or whatever it is. Maybe you get flooded. I'm going to keep bringing that, or you lose a key. It brings you back up to that level that you can move forward and see things with a positive light. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to remove the stress by doing things like painting, music, whatever it is, so that you can again see the world through a positive lens. Because as long as you can see the world through a positive lens, I'm going to tell you right now, you'll be able to keep moving forward. So Pat, what do you do to relieve stress? I know, and I was joking around about the flood, but he really did have a flood in his basement, and it was a big thing there.
Stress? I'm not stressed. Stress? Me?
No, not you.
No, it's you know what, folks, is that I've been kind of brought up to try to be as resilient as possible through stress. So I'm kind of a glass half full guy, like you were talking about. As long as I can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? We talked a little bit earlier in one of our earlier videos here about, the stock market and how it's been, not been a great thing for a lot of people. People have lost a lot of money this week. I had a flood, and it goes back to stupidity on my end, right? But I have no one else to blame. What happened was, I think I've explained with people before, is that my father passed away recently. And when he was dying in late November, early December, somebody didn't turn off the water at my personal house. So the pipe expanded and broke, and it's the outside valve for the garden hose. So we went the other day. My daughter wanted to bounce on the trampoline. We go with the hose off the trampoline as it's spring cleaning, and I have a flood in my basement. So I in that time, I could have been like, blah, 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 right? All pissed off, all mad, all that sort of thing.
Yell at your daughter, yell at your mom.
Right. All the kinds of stuff that goes, the dog, the cat, anybody, right? So in that time, though, I looked at it as we caught it in time. We were able to clean it up. And to me, there's almost like a divine intervention around it. Because I was away last weekend. My daughter, she just qualified for provincials, which would be like state for gymnastics. But that weekend, we left on this whole incident happened last Friday. And basically, if we hadn't have caught it, it would have been 4 days that we were basically away, that nobody would have saw this. 4 days with a hole in a water main in your basement would be like
running
12, like they're 9-foot ceilings.
Well, so
after 9
how many
feet,
hours did it take for someone to catch it?
Well, and that's the crazy part about it. And, that's where I'm kind of, I take solace and I go with, again, the divine intervention. My dad, I swear, is up there going, what more do I need to do for you folks? Right? He's keeping an eye on things.
He sure
But
is.
this was a situation where somebody went down into the basement who never goes in the basement. Like
Mhm.
never goes down there. We just did a
Yeah.
huge renovation, beautiful basement. It's lovely, brand new bathroom, new bedrooms, all kinds of stuff down there. It would have been absolutely demolished.
Mhm.
But there was something there. And that was this goes to the glass half full thing. Is that if you can take a miserable, awful, terrible situation like that and you can turn it around into, you know what? It could have been way worse. It could have been awful. It could have been 9 feet of. My daughter's always
Yeah.
wanted a swimming pool, and she's always thought it'd be pretty cool if we had an indoor one.
And it would
So,
happen.
and
Yeah.
we would have had it.
Yeah.
But like to think about it, we would have lost the furnace, we would have lost the air conditioning, we would have lost
Your heated floors that you just put in.
all of the cool
Yeah.
stuff, right? Well, like about a $50,000 bathroom, to be
Oh
honest,
yeah.
that
Jeez.
just got done. All of
And
this
then,
stuff would
yeah.
have been awful. So that's a glass half full. So stress for me, yes, there's no question that everybody deals with it. But how do you become resilient to it? How do you become resistant to it? It takes practice, right? Like you have to give yourself 1 out of 10 stressors. And then you can handle those 7, 8, 9 things because you didn't die from the 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
Right. And that's where I think what you're doing right now is brilliant, is that you're explaining to people, okay, so you can't control this thing. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. But what can you do internally to de-stress? And
That's right.
I think that's what you're talking about, right?
That's very much what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to teach is there's a lot of things that we can't change in this world. Just like your water or just outside influences. But if you can change yourself on the inside so that you go from that negative kind of self-image or negative idea about the world and you turn that into a positive and you see the good in the world and you start, like, I would say that ever since I've made these changes, I become a more positive person. And when I go out in the world, I spread positivity around me.
Absolutely.
And it's just a different mindset. So when negative things happen, like I lose my key, which everyone saw right on YouTube there, you go ahead and watch my 5K run. I took it in a positive light. Just
So
recently,
if I can about that video, the absolute best part of that whole video was like, I'm looking for my keys. I saved a bird. I'm looking for a cheese. And then you cut and then you're on the train coming back. I died. Like
that was pretty
belly
funny.
laughed. I thought that was hilarious. It's like,
Yeah.
guess he didn't get his keys.
Especially with the conductor in the back announcing the next stop. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. No, very enjoyable. But the whole time I stayed positive. Even when I showed up, fortunately, Pat was able to pick me up. It was still a positive light. And then the next day we got the key and everything. And then, I've had trouble since then. We've had tech problems. But because I can see it in a positive light, and because I feel good on the inside, because I'm running, because I'm changing my life in the positive light, because I live in the positive, that when I hit these stresses, like you said, you can see the light. You can see that this is not the end of the world. This is a moment. You just have to get through this moment, and the next thing you do will be better. You can change it into a positive, which you did. You fixed your basement. And it's for the better now. You got the pipe all fixed, and now you can clean whatever you want, build a pool. You can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
But the positive from it, right? So he could have got all upset. He could have yelled and screamed. He could have blamed other people, which is what a lot of people do. It was no one's fault. It was an accident. It was an accident in a bad time. And instead of blaming everyone, you got it fixed. You dealt with the problem and you move forward.
Do you know what was one of the things that I would say lessened that load? And I think part of that was lessened because when I called the plumber to redo the line, and you got to remember, like this is a main water line, like it's not a little job, right? Is that we just had this conversation during our last video about mind, body, soul, and you do have to take into account your wallet.
You do,
right? Is that to me, it wasn't my last $200,
right?
Right. I knew that $200 to bring that plumber in is that it wasn't my last $200. It wasn't going to take food off the table for my family because I've been able to make some financial decisions and educate myself that it just isn't. Right.
That's right.
So when we talk about this, stressors, most people, especially with inflation, the way that it's going, and I hate to bring everything back to the market, folks, but it really does have a bearing on everybody's life.
Yep.
is that if you're not down to your last couple $100, the little shit doesn't matter.
That's
So
right.
what are you doing about it?
Yep.
Like, how are you going out and making a better situation for yourself and therefore, i.e., your family, to be able to handle the fridge breaks down, the dishwasher breaks down, the car breaks down,
You just
World War
listed about
III.
everything that's happened to you recently. But you're absolutely right. And so, like I mentioned it in that 5K video that I keep talking about, it's a $500 key. So I literally paid $500 for the key. But because I've made some proper choices with Pat here, because I am constantly working, like I never stop working. I got Soaring Profits. I have another business going. I have 2 full-time jobs. I have that nest egg that $500 is nothing to me.
Right.
And if you go back 6 years ago, $500 was my world. Like if
It-
$500
But would
popped
you
up,
agree that $500 would have been totally different?
it would
Like
have been
that five-
totally different.
100%.
Yeah,
But what would it
ruined
have
me.
done? Right.
It would have taken
taken
food off my kids' table. It might have bounced a mortgage payment.
Yep.
But because
It
I have a
snowballs.
positive attitude and I had that domino effect that I'm trying to teach, and because I came out of my shell and now I'm out there. I'm doing Soaring Profits. I'm doing another one, and I'm constantly on the move. I'm constantly positively changing my life for the better. I'm using a lot of the tips that Pat's given me to make my wallet fatter. So I have a larger nest egg that I can call upon in times like you're talking about.
100%.
I need a new roof. Well, I can do that now. But
If a
that is
tenant-
all part of having a positive attitude and being able to get off
Right.
every day. You're sitting there eating bonbons, you're eating chips, which is who I was, folks. I was the guy that did nothing. 6 years ago, I was a big fat man doing nothing with my life. I was a loser doing nothing with my life.
Oh, that's the clip. That's the Instagram
That's the
clip
clip.
right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one.
That's I was a nothing burger. Yeah.
There you go.
But once I started that domino, I took a step in the right direction. It just kept on rolling. And now I'm in the place that I'm in now, which is a positive, ready to face the world guy. And, I found ways to deal with the stress that I do have, which
Right.
is also important. You have to have both.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to impulsively buy a boat. But that's we'll leave that we'll leave that for another
There's
conversation.
a podcast. We should do
There
a
you
live
go.
podcast, maybe Saturday. We
From
could do a live
yeah.
podcast from the boat.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, I really enjoyed. I hope you got something from this. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'm James.
Patrick, as always, thank you again, folks, and we'll see you again real soon.
Yeah. Let's heal our minds, bodies, and
our wallets.
Souls. God, the wallet is not the soul, although it's important. Have a great day.
Take care, folks.
Hey, folks, thanks again for joining us at Soaring Profits. Patrick and James, please like, subscribe, and share.
And follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. And let's start a dinner table discussion right on this page right here. Let's start talking about the topics that we're talking about today.
Thanks again, folks. Appreciate it.